Hey guys, Stefan here from Kindle Money Mastery. I'm here at my brother's cabin right now on the beautiful lake, as you can see behind us. This is my brother Andreas, and my brother here has been a mentor in my life, and he's also someone that has achieved incredible success with Kindle Publishing in a very short period of time. And so while we're up here, we're just kind of talking Kindle and brainstorming and stuff. And I thought it'd be a really good idea just to interview him and ask him questions and have him share a bit of his story about his life and how he got to where he is, achieving the success and everything he's done, but also specifically with Kindle, what he's been able to create that could hopefully inspire you guys and share some practical stuff to help you guys build your Kindle business. So thank you for taking this time with me.
Great.
And do you want to maybe start off just by sharing a little bit about just your background, about what you've done before Kindle? Because I think one thing that's really inspiring about you, and you've been a role model for me, is because you started off, you know, we had a similar childhood, but you had it worse with our dad. We started off in the family business.
Yeah.
You've been through, you know, a lot of debt in your life and financial challenges.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You've been able to come out the other side, becoming a multi-millionaire, creating this incredible lifestyle. So you want to share just your story for people?
Yeah, sure. We have the same father, as you know, and we both grew up in an environment where the family business, European-style Greek family business, was the all of everything, and we sort of had our path set for us by our father, that we had to go into the family business and we had to take it and run with it and follow and do someone else's dreams, which wasn't our dreams. And the challenge of breaking away from that was a challenge of its own, but I had it the worst because I was the oldest son, and there's quite a bit of an age difference, 7 years between, or long or more, between my sister, nine between my brother and I. So I was in there managing and running the company. At the age of 14, 15 years old, I was starting to work in the company, and by the time I graduated, my future was already decided by my father. I passed on scholarships for school down in the States due to I play soccer at a high level, and had opportunities that I waived because I had pressure from the family from my father specifically to take over the family business. And although we get a lot of our entrepreneurial skills and ability to run a business and successfully from our father, because he's very creative and very intelligent in that manner, he lacks a lot of the skills that are required to take a business to the next level. And because of those skills, he put myself into a very bad financial position, because he put me as the figurehead of the company. Although he made the final decision, I was sort of the name behind the company that eventually went under. And so that was difficult, being 18, 19 years old and stepping into those shoes. And even though running the company was not the problem, I had the skills of doing that. The poor management decisions in regards to the finances of the company was horrible by our dad. He was very bad at managing money, and a skill that I'm very good at.
Yeah. And just, you know, we'll maybe go in specifics about the type of business that you got involved in and just kind of the lifestyle that you went into. But most of our childhood, we grew up with a lot of financial challenges. You know, our parents were always fighting over money. Our dad, you know, even though he was always entrepreneurial, just didn't know how to manage money the right way. And so we always, you know, our parents went through a bankruptcy, and there was just a lot of challenges growing up financially, which, you know, we had to go through. But you want to share a little bit about the businesses that you've worked in, how young you were working, and just your lifestyle as a kid? Because you've had a different childhood than most kids of just playing and having fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was 9 years old, and I was going with Dad to do tile jobs, and I was grouting floors at 9 years old while all my construction stuff. And although I benefit substantially from it now, because that's what I'm in, and you can imagine at 9 years old until you're 23, 24 years old and finally going on your own, starting a company, I had a world world of experience when it came to construction. We went from businesses that were from the tile business to the glass business to the bathtub business to restaurant business. It was always business. He was an entrepreneurial in creating businesses. He just was not very entrepreneurial in managing a business. And that is the key. Business is common sense, and he maybe was beyond common sense. He didn't apply common sense, he applied theory. And so that's a whole topic of its own. But those experiences of all those different types of professions that he jumped from, I kind of just dragged along. And then when I became of legal age, I was put at the forefront, and that this business, he would sell me on the idea of a successful business. This is yours, this is your venture. And good morning. And this venture, and but the reality was there was no hope for this venture.
And it wasn't what you wanted to do with your life.
No.
It was more what our dad wanted us to
exactly.
do.
It didn't thrive. It didn't propel me and excite me. It kind of just became it was truly just a job. And although every type of work is a job, you should love what you do. And I love what I do now. But I still, even though I'm successful at what I do now, I still believe in diversity. I still believe that you don't necessarily have to do one thing in your life for your whole life. That if you create opportunities, that you might find something that you even like even more. And I have found something now with Kindle that excites me, that is new, because I have sort of, I guess you could say, mastered my profession to a point where I am content without growing it anymore, because I realize what is involved in growing it more, and I don't want to put that effort into that. I'd rather manage my time into something different and open a new chapter in my life. And so to get back to running off the family business, I went into the family business, and
so from 9 years old you're working in the family business
until I was about until I left on my own to 23, 24. When I turned 18, we opened a company that I was going to take over and was in my name. And when you turn 18, you all of a sudden have opportunities to borrow money. And I was still young and naive, and thought that if you borrow money and invest it into your company, that no matter how you invest it, that it will grow and you'll make more money. Problem was that theory did not work when my dad was involved. And so soon enough, I started to accumulate a lot of debt that now was in my name. And before you know it, I'm 22 years old, 4 years had blown by. And I was in debt, and I was in the family business, which I was running, and wasn't really making any money. And so finally I had to make a decision in my life that, which was difficult. To break ties from our dad is very difficult. We're still, every day, a challenge for us. So I decided that I had an opportunity that came up, that I was able to go to Europe and play soccer at a very high level and make a little bit of money doing so. So I took the opportunity. It was very difficult in the family. It very hard on my father. It put him in a very bad place and maybe a strain on a relationship. But I think it was a turning point in my life. It gave me the courage, most importantly, that I needed to start my life over. And I still to this day don't think it was about me going and playing soccer. It was about me going and figuring out myself, evolving as a person, which is what Stefan is all about. He's about growth and and human progress as an individual, and that's where he motivates me, and why I've spent the last 5-6 years of my life implementing a lot of those things and improving my family life with my wife and my kids, and my lifestyle where I am today, which is what I call the Greek retreat. It's my place of Zen. It's my therapy. I come up here and I relax and I enjoy my life, and that's what you have to do with all your Kindle success. And so I went to Europe. It was life-changing. Soon as I stepped off the plane, and I'm sure Stefan's got story after story about his traveling experiences. Everybody should do it. And I went and I played soccer, and when I decided after my time there that this was not the career that I wanted, soccer, I decided to come back home to my family, my friends, and which I miss dearly, and I decided to go back to school. I did go back and work for my dad. I felt that I had to because I still needed some kind of work and some kind of making some money, and it was the easiest. But I had a plan that I was going to gradually shift away.
How do you think you'd, like, you know, I think it's hard for a lot of people to make that decision. What made you finally have to make the decision to kind of go on your own and look at different ways? And I think you had to go through your process of trying to find yourself and find what you wanted to do. And
well, the reality is, I got to a point in my life where I just felt the best analogy that I can put it is that I was in a room that was a circle with no door. And I just felt like everywhere I turned, it all looked the same, and there was no future for me. And when you get to that point in your life where you feel like you're a puppet and everybody controls the strings, you finally decide you want to break those strings and you want to control your own life. Yeah. And the only way you can do that is to go out there and get it. I didn't know how I was going to go out and get it.
You went for it, though.
I went for it.
You didn't know how it turned out in Greece or whatever.
I didn't know, and I left behind, I left my boy, my little puppy, my dog, who I'd become close to because he was my best friend during those tough times. And I left that behind, and my only asset, which was a Jeep. And
obviously, our dad had disapproved of it, which was hard going against that. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to be happy,
exactly.
Right?
And you know, and there was a lot of unsolved answers or questions. I had debt that I had accumulated, and I finally just said to him, you know what? I've done enough for this family. You're going to take care of this for me, and I'm going to go figure my life out. And that was the hardest thing I had to do in my life. And for people out there, this may not be a similar situation. It could be something else that's difficult in your life, something that you have to overcome, a stepping stone. And so this is just easy because Stefan and I have something similar that we went through, and we've motivated ourselves, found a way to motivate. And in some way, it's a blessing because we have used our father and our experience, our relationship with him, to build success. Yeah. And I'm all about my brother. I do everything I can to help him. I've tried to give him guidance wherever I can, and he's been inspirational to me because not only when you give someone guidance and give them advice, but when they actually listen to it and then it comes to fruition for them, it's like a real pat on your back. You didn't make anything from it, but you helped somebody truly in their life. And in a way, this is what he's doing for me by just me sitting here and talking to you. I love this. I love being able to share my story because my wife is tired of hearing it, to be honest with you. Right? So, but I did it. I stepped up to him, which was the hardest challenge. And then from that point on, he was like the wall that I had to go over. And once I did that, it seemed like nothing wasn't doable. Everything was achievable. Anything I set my mind to, I could do. I went to Europe. I played soccer. I knew that I could do it, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And right then I knew that I had control of my life because even though I stepped in from one situation into another, I could have gone there, I could have played soccer, I could have toughed it out for 10 years, I could have made X amount of dollars, but I would still be in the same boat at 30 years old, 32 years old, not knowing what my life and my future was. And to a lot of people, playing soccer, having a career in soccer is a dream. Yeah. You know, I have friends who would have loved to have had that opportunity. But for me, knowing that I could pass on it and was happy with it, and that there was a better future for me out there, that was what changed my life. And from that point on, I backpacked through Europe, Greece, and I visited the rest of my family, and all of a sudden it all came to me. It just said, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to achieve this, you're going to achieve that. I didn't really set goals that I would be a millionaire by 30 years old and then a multi-millionaire to now. There's goals along the way that you set because you achieve them and you challenge yourself more. But making money is fantastic. It provides this and opportunities, but it's more of the success story, going from being in debt, from what you learn and who you become and who you inspire. Because inspiring people, the most influential people in the world are the ones that inspire you to be you, to achieve your goals. And so I played soccer, I backpacked, and then when I came back, I decided to go back to school. I figured it was the smartest thing for me to go into business because I had all the life experience of running a company from start to finish, and to dealing with people in marketing and in the face-to-face interactions with sales and staff and everything that goes along with a business. So that part I had covered, but I wanted to I wanted to take it up a notch, and I wanted to be what our dad wasn't, and that is to have the skills of managing a company efficiently, reliably, all the things that you need for a company to grow, to improve the company, to become a company that survives. And so I went back and I did 6 long years did a double major at SFU.
Yeah. All at the same time though, you're in debt, credit card debt.
Yeah.
Right?
I came back. I registered for school. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. And I had the debt that was still to be paid off. I consolidated all my debt, ripped up all my cards, and I wasn't an access for my father for funding anymore. I put my foot down there, and all of a sudden I had all these strengths to say no to whoever I wanted to. I had all this confidence because I just hit that first step. And it just compounded, and it was like for the first time in my life, everything was upwards, one after the other. And so then I came back and
Are you discouraged at all by the debt? Because when you, a lot of people, they have this a huge amount of debt and they're just paralyzed by it. You're like, you created a plan for yourself of what you're going to do.
Yeah, I used to get teased by friends because I came back and I consolidated my debt and I put it all into a 30-month program to pay it back month by month. And every month that go by, I'd count it down and I'd say to my cousin and I'd say to my friends, I got 27 months to go and I'm out of debt. And they would laugh and say, 27 months, and it's so far away. But before you know it, I was down to 7 months and 6 months. And all of a sudden I had started not only working for the family and not making much money, but paying for my school. I started doing side jobs. I'd taken all my experience from construction and started doing some side work. And now I not only had paid for school without borrowing, I was paying off my loan faster, and I had a savings account. And even though it was a small savings account, that first dollar you start saving for the first time in your life at the age of 25 years old, it's inspirational. It's motivational, right? Because it's like, how do I make the next dollar? And before
progress.
And before you know it, $1 is $10, and $10 is $100, and $100 is $1,000. And where I am today, where I have the freedom to make a purchase spontaneously if I like to, and I mean, that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here to tell you that I was an average person that, sorry about the distractions because we're on a lake, so there's people that paddle go by.
So they know it's a real lake.
So, but that's why I wanted to tell this story, because I said to Steph, you've got all these people that you meet, but a lot of them don't come from the same roots that some of us might come from, that we had difficulties from a young age, and we had obstacles that a lot of us just can't get over. But I'm here to tell you, you can. You can be in debt, and I was in debt. I was $30,000-$40,000 in debt at the age of 18, 19 years old, and that's a lot of money. I mean, to get out of, right? And it took me until I was 24, 25 years old, where I had paid off all that debt, and I had saved enough money, and I had met my lovely wife, who I've been together now for 15 years, or 14 years, and she was with it through it all. She was there when she met me when I was in debt. She was motivation to me, to remind me that it's great, you're doing it, and everybody needs that. It's a big part, is to be surrounded by people who motivate you, who tell you you're doing a great job. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to hear it, and the more you hear it, the better it is, the better you're going to keep going and striving yourself and growing. And so as soon as I got out of debt, it was like the plane took off.
So what happened for you though? So you're in debt, and all throughout this process of going to Europe, going to school and everything. But while you're going to school in the evenings, and
I was taking,
pay off the debt, pay for your school. And at what point did you get yourself out of that? And you say you're taking some side jobs, construction-wise.
I was about a year into, after about 6 months back from Europe, I was 6 months into school. I was taking 3 courses at a time, and I managed to pay for those. And I started out of college, which was cheaper, and then from there, I paid for that, and then after about 6 months, I started to see some opportunities. The friends came to me and do small jobs, tile jobs here and there, and all of a sudden, where I was making nothing from my father. Family business is not what it's cracked out to be. You don't get a salary, you just get whatever's left over, and usually that's nothing. And so all of a sudden, you know, I was making this extra money, and it's like, geez, I can do a job and make $1,000 in a day. You know, because I could do tiling, which people did for 20 years, but I had done it since I was 9, 10 years old. It was a trade that I learned. I didn't realize the gifts that I was given by my father, because he was the type that threw us into the fire. That was what was beneficial from him. He didn't give you a chart and say do this or guidelines. He threw you in there, and he'd say, you're going to do this. And you do it, and you learn from your mistake, and then that is valuable on its own. And that's what we benefited from it, and that's why we're both successful today, because when we take a chance, we're willing to learn from the mistake and grow from it. And you have to. Every successful businessman is gonna learn from a mistake, and that's just the way it is. You're gonna lose money, but the thing is, you want to learn from it, and you got to implement what you learn from it so you can make money from it. And back to the story. After about 6 months, I started doing side jobs, and then I met my wife, and then it was about a year and a half. I was into university, college. I started up my company. I had an opportunity to break away from the family business. I got hurt working for my father, and so I had to take some time off. And from there, when I took the time off, I saw it as an opportunity to have that free time to push the side business, which was renovations. And it was during the boom here in Vancouver where we live. Construction was in high demand, and so the timing was just right. I was lucky. I had a bit of timing that was involved, because all good businesses have luck too. It's just a reality of it. You can be as smart as you want, but you got to have some luck. And so I did it. I just threw myself in. When I took the time off, going through I had hurt myself and gone through my rehabilitation, I decided not to go back to my family business and just go out on my own. And all of a sudden, the small jobs, the $1,000 jobs, turned into $5,000 jobs, and the $10,000 jobs, and then $100,000 jobs, and then all of a sudden, I created a website portfolio for the company, and then from there it grew. And then eventually what happened is it started to conflict with school. I would have loved to have gone on to do a master's. Down the road in my life, I'd love to teach at a university, especially one that would be more technical, more hands-on, for young entrepreneurials. That's been a lifelong goal and dream of mine. Later on in life, when I'm done managing all my companies, I'd like to pay it forward. I've had a lot of inspirational mentors for me that have helped me in my ventures, as I not only have a construction company, I've got a portfolio of real estate assets. I'm also heavily invested in other portfolios, like investing in stocks and bonds, that I have a large portfolio. And so those are businesses of their own, full-time businesses. And so I've diversified myself very well to a point now where I can sit here on my lake and do an interview about a new potential business, the Kindle business. And so the company took off. This is my 9th year in renovations. I do anywhere from $800 to $1.2 million in gross revenue. It's self-managing in the sense that most of my crew is outsourced. I don't have a labor force, which reduces a lot of the stress. I've managed my company that well. I grew my company at a significant pace. You know, within my first year, I made more money than twice as much money as working for the family business. And I had a huge profit. I remember even my accountant making a joke and saying, "You made a profit in your first year," which companies typically don't. By the I'd say 5th or 6th year, I had grown it to a $1.2 million company, and with just myself managing and then my sub-trades. And at that point in my life, I decided that I had made enough money. I didn't want to push the company. For me to push the company to the next level, I would have to hire staff. I would have to maybe have an office. I would have to grow it to a new level and have the responsibilities of more jobs, creating a certain amount of income to pay for the growth. And I kind of decided that it's not what I wanted. Construction wasn't something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I had mastered it in the sense of managing the project from start to finish at an efficient scale. That's why I get a lot of my work. I'm very efficient at my job. And so the company grew to a point where I was content with. And so I pulled back a bit. and I kind of now just float with the company. It's pretty much guaranteed a certain amount of sales every year. I know my cash flows. I know what I can spend, what I can't spend. And I've taken the cash flows and invested in other assets to diversify along the way. And now I have a substantial amount of wealth that I am able to look other ventures, other opportunities. And that's where I am today, where, you know, I'm still doing construction, heavily active, but I work about 6 months a year in construction. You know, I make a very good living. I make more than most doctors and lawyers who spend their life going to school. And it's not to brag or not to show off in any way. It's just that anybody can take a profession and make and cap it out. And to do that, you have to be good at it, and you have to be efficient at it, and you have to have a good reputation. You have to be responsible, reliable, and have a lot of qualities that people need. And I'm in a profession where a lot of contractors don't have a good reputation, so it makes it even easier. It makes the barrier hard to get into, but once you get past the barrier, your reputation is everything. And I built a good reputation where people are willing to wait for my services, willing to pay my price, and will get and will expect and will get what that I offer and sell. So
you built your business over the last 10 years, right? You've been successful with that. You've also been very successful investing, and he's actually my mentor when it comes to investing. Gave me my all the advice to invest in my first investment property, stocks, mutual funds. He's the person that I go to for that. So you've been able to share a lot of that with me, and that's something that is also a passion for you. And I think it's important that when you make money, it's not just about making it, it's how you manage it and what you do with it, right?
Exactly.
So you've mastered that as well.
Exactly.
And now you've kind of gone in, you know, despite all the success, you're getting into a new venture, which has been internet marketing and Kindle Publishing.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, you know, because Andreas is active in the Facebook group that we have in the Full Disclosure. And a lot of people ask you, you know, why are you doing this Kindle stuff?
Yeah.
You know,
or
here
why
you
are you doing it? Why are you doing it?
You're a multi-millionaire. You've got, you know, your cabin, your house, your cars, all that sort of stuff. Why are you doing the Kindle stuff?
You know, you do something for so long, and then you become so good at it, you start to lose your motivation to do that task. You know, I mean, even the best athletes in the world who make millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, at some point in their life, they love their sport. Yeah. But they retire. Some retire early, some can't let go. But there are many athletes who are really good at what they do, have made millions and retired early because it's just not what they love to do anymore.
Or they lose the drive for it.
They lose the drive for it because they're good at it. And it's not them being cocky, it's not them saying that I'm too good for this anymore. It's just once that drive is gone, you don't want to be, I don't want to be back where I was when I was 18 years old. And sometimes I feel like that when you're just going through the motions and your company's making you the money that you want, you're buying the things that you like, and you're doing all the things that you want to do. So what inspires you after that? Well, you have to go out there and find it the same way I did when I was 22 years old and breaking ties from my dad, and that's what I did. And when Stefan brought up the Kindle business a few years ago, because he's been on it for a while, I kind of shrugged and laughed and said, didn't really pay attention to it much. Maybe it was just my ego. Maybe it was just I was too consumed with what was going on at the time. But in the last year, because I've pulled back in my company and the amount of time that I work, I have a lot of free time, and I spend a lot of free time up here. So now the question is, what do I do with my free time? I have a lot of hobbies. I fish and I hunt and I ATV and snowmobile, and I got a lot of things that kill my time. But they still don't inspire me. What inspires me is I like making money. It's not even about the money. It's just about, I like taking a venture and growing it to what I feel that I'm content with. Yeah. And I've done that with real estate, I've done that with my stock portfolio, I've done that with my construction. And so now I want to do something new. And internet, and because I'm here a lot, I think, well, what can I do that's here? And work. And because I like working.
Okay guys, so the camera just got cut off there a sec. Do you want to just continue saying what you're saying about why you got into the Kindle and you're living up here and you're looked at the internet as an opportunity to make money?
Yeah. Well, where I am up here in the Caribou, it's 5 hours away from the big city, and it's quite remote. And so getting an internet signal is possible, but it's a challenge of its own. Yeah. There's ways that we're gonna set that up, but I wanted to do something where, because now I've scaled back on my company to 6 months the year, I got 6 months that I'd like to do another venture, and so I want to do it spending up here, because ultimately this is where I want to be. This is where I'm at peace with myself, and I love the environment that it provides. And so I wanted a venture that I could be at. I could sit here and I could be on my computer. I could, do something that could reach out to people and opportunities, and a venture that down the road, I think that's why I like the Kindle business, is because it's a platform for opportunities, not only to learn the internet, but its potential of its scale of economies, so to say, is that it has opportunities are endless. There are so many ventures that you can do from the push of a button of your mouse, and so the Kindle business is great for anybody who wants to come in and to not only learn how to operate a computer efficiently, but it forces you to get into some programs like Lead Pages and Aweber and using KDP and just the simple things like that they're just stepping stones. And I mean, prior to the Kindle business, I started the Kindle business April 1st, was when I launched my first book, and with my wife, and prior to that, I was intimidated by a computer. I knew how to operate emails, and I have a website for my company and the basics. But HTML and some of these other types of downloading and formatting and things like that, they intimidated me, and they were a barrier for me into entering the online business. And so Stefan's program is great because it walks you through all of this. And so I used his program, and because I'm keen and I'm aggressive and motivated, and I have so much experience in management and how to run a business efficiently, I was able, since April 1st, to accumulate 115 books, with another 30-40 coming, and 30 paperbacks, and that's growing every day, and generate a revenue of $6,500 a month. And in the scale of what I do for outside of the Kindle business, it's not a lot of money, but I managed to do that in 4 months.
And it's passive.
And it's passive because now I have a whole crew of VAs that manage all my accounts. I'm sorry to say, but I will be stepping away from the KMM Facebook group. You won't see me as much anymore. I will go on from time to time.
The review exchanges.
Yeah, the review exchanges, I'll be gone. I hope that I'll be able to help some of you still and come on there and answer questions and so forth. So I will do that. But I feel that the Kindle business has gotten to a point now where I can't do those things anymore. I wanted to do them. Stefan encourages VAs and to do that. Because I'm hands-on in my companies, I wanted to learn the process. I thought I would be a better business owner of it down the road. And so now when a problem arises with my VAs or anything to do with the Kindle business, because I had first-hand experience managing it, doing it, it runs more efficiently. And that's the key here, because once you get to a certain point in the Kindle business, book publishing, if you are going to get to that point, if that's what your goal is, you get to a certain point, we have so many books, you just can't manage them yourself. It's a business, and that's the reality of it. Once you publish one book, there are 4 or 5 things that you have to do to keep the sales going on that book. And you can imagine that when you have 100 books, you're 500 times the amount of things that you have to do. And so the process of getting VAs and outsourcing all of that has been relatively easy for me, because that's what I do for a living. I'm a contractor. I manage people and manage what they do, and I find ways to get the best out of those people in a short period of time. And
I've learned a lot from you in terms of his ability with his business experience of what he's been able to do, because I think, one, you're one of the fastest people I've ever seen implement what you learned from my course. And I've talked about this before in previous videos about my brother, what I've learned from him and stuff, but his speed of implementation, where the moment you have an idea or an opportunity, you don't hesitate, you don't procrastinate, you don't sit there trying to analyze all that, you just do it. And so you scaled up the Kindle so fast, and a lot of how you've outsourced, automated things that you've done, I've learned from him, but it's just blown my mind how fast he's been able to do it. And part of it, you've had all these great qualities, which I think is important for success, because I've seen some people have my course and kind of been held back. Other people, they take it, they have a lot of success. But you've been able to do it at a huge scale, and I think you didn't know any of this stuff, internet marketing, computer stuff. You didn't know about VAs, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But you learned it fast, you did it, and you implemented it, and here you are. Now the opportunity that he has is just even larger. Just you're
it's opening doors, because now I'm taking some of the products that I've marketed on Kindle, in Kindle, and I'm going to be creating a blog that my wife will be managing, and it's sort of along the lines of the products that she loves. And there's an opportunity that was created that wasn't there 4 months ago, and it's motivated her. I mean, this has been, I mean, I'm a motivation alone for her. I'm always on her because she's the opposite of me, and so, but this Kindle business has opened the eyes to her potential. I mean, it really is. It truly is, and it's just the opportunities are there, and it's just a matter of how much you want it, and how much you apply the teachings that Stefan has there. He's set up a great platform for you for a low cost, and for what I think is a low cost, because the return on it, I mean, is amazing.
Comparable to people, your education, going to university, and what people invest in those regards, right?
Well, I mean, when I look at it, because I relate everything to business, and so I look at everything in an investment perspective, and so I look at it, okay, when I buy a stock, I want to know how much I'm going to invest and what percent I'm going to get back. And I do the same in my business decisions for my company, how much I'm going to put into a project, and how much I'll get back. And with the Kindle business, honestly, I think it's more powerful and more potential, because there isn't too many businesses where you can take $50 and grow it and make your money back in the first month, because that's what you got to look at. In any business, you got to look at what you put in, how fast you can get it back. And in most companies, you can't do that. It's a long-term investment. And although I've had the ability to turn a profit immediately in most of my ventures, that's just because I have the experience, my lifelong experience, my difficulties in life. I've been able to capitalize on the learning curve. And so here I am, and I've done the same for the Kindle business, and I'm going to branch out, and I'm going to get into other things, and we'll talk about those in a bit. But that's why I got into the Kindle business, and that's why I see the potential. I think that I will make more money somewhere down the line from all of this than even that I have accumulated in my wealth in my portfolio of project companies that I have now, just because the revenue stream is endless. You're reaching people on other ends of the world that you can't reach locally here with the company that you had. I could if I grew my company, if I decided to take my construction company and grow it to a North American company that would travel all over the world and build. And I have designers that I do work with that done that. They've expanded their company and they're in Thailand doing projects. But I have a family, and that's important value to me, and I don't want to get into all that. I want to pick my career and my future, and I have the ability to do that.
And so it's also, I mean, the internet, I think you're learning now the power of just the passive income, where you can be free. You can make money while you're sleeping.
I mean, I have
you're
books.
Not exchanging your time for money. And right now we're having this interview. People are buying our books. We're making money. It's all automatic.
Selling. I mean, I go to sleep at night and I wake up and I've sold. I mean, I don't have any.
Wake up, you look at how many books you sold, and it's like, oh, I sold 100 books today.
Exactly, and they're books that, I mean, I have books that I don't even focus on anymore that are in the back, and all I do is my promotions, or my VAs do the promotions, and that's all that they required, and it's growing. I mean, the Kindle business is growing, and the more it grows, the better it is for you and for Amazon, because the more money that Amazon makes, the more they're going to pump money into. They're a big company, they're a huge company, and they reach markets that we can't reach, and so don't think that this will become saturated. We're a small piece of the pie, and there's years of making money here and opportunities. So jump on it and go with it, but also keep in the back of your mind other opportunities. Don't just stick with Kindle. Diversify, because like anything in this world, you have to diversify, and that's what I'm doing. I'm taking Kindle and I'm going to diversify into blogging and hopefully coaching, and things like that. And so that's why we did this interview, really, is to reach out to you, everybody in the group, to let you know who I am, that annoying guy that's on Facebook all the time and sending out messages, and that there's a face behind it all. And I thought my story could help people. That it's been a lifelong. It's been a long 20 years since I graduated high school, and I mean, what I've learned just in the last 10 years
Yeah.
has been the most powerful thing in the world, and it's infectious. It's infectious when you start to not only create wealth, you start to gain confidence, and you start to gain an internal power that it's infectious. People are drawn to you. People want to be around you. I have mentors. I have people that who are multi-millionaires, maybe even a billionaire, who have mentored me, who have given their time and energy, and for no reason. I had nothing to offer them. But they've paid it forward, and that's what I'm going to do one day. Anybody who comes to me, and that's what I've done to Stefan, and I have friends and even workers that work for me who come to me for advice on their finances, and I help them because I feel like I have to, because somebody helped me. You don't necessarily have to have someone give you $1, but to give you an idea is priceless.
Yeah.
And to give you the confidence to create that idea is priceless.
Yeah.
And this is what this is all about, and that's building confidence and reassuring you that your hard work will come to fruition. You will do well, but also you have to have common sense. You have to apply what you learn, and you can't keep making the same mistakes. There's a learning curve, and that's fine, but you got to learn from it.
Yeah. What do you think has made you be able to have so much success compared to a lot of people? Because you interact with people in the group, and you know, we both see people in the group. Some people are doing awesome, right?
Yeah.
And you see how well they're doing. It's all great. And then you see some people, they're struggling, and for whatever reason. Why do you think that is, and what do you think is different about you, or maybe advice that you can give to people to help them grow?
I think the most important thing, and this is what I learned, and comes to personal growth, and this is what Stefan also coaches, and his background is about motivation and finding the power within. And you really, I think, to be successful in your life, you really have to know who you are. You really have to look inside you. You have to be willing to say what you're not good at and do what you're good at. And hire the people that you're not good at to do what you do, because really smart people hire smarter people. I mean, that's just the reality of it. They may have an ego and not admit it, but they do. They always do. And you got to really know what you want to do with your life. You have to really do a self-evaluation of yourself and be content and happy in your life, because if you're happy and you're motivated, you can do anything in your life. You can. You know, whether it's learning how to water ski, or shooting a gun for the first time, or learning how to do something on the internet.
And I think when you work on yourself and you develop those qualities, because I mean, it's all the qualities, the disciplines you've established over the years that have helped make you successful, right? You're very driven, disciplined, motivated. You don't procrastinate. And when you have those qualities, it doesn't matter what you do. You could probably start a clothing store and be successful at it. You could start anything, not know anything about it, but because you have those qualities, it'll be successful.
And you know, a lot of people say those are traits and qualities, but I think they're values. I value, a big part of me is efficiency. I cannot start a project without finishing it. I cannot have something on my wall that is not done. That's just my nature. That's who I am. I am not comfortable until it's done. And so if somebody sends me an email, I have to respond to it. If I don't get back to an answer with it, I will say something. A lot of that is on the Facebook, where people complain that they don't respond, they don't get back. That right there alone,
that says a lot about you.
That says a lot about yourself. You know, even for Stefan, who has 100 things going on, and he'll get 1,000 emails. Even if he doesn't email you directly, he's got somebody emailing you, and that is because he has set it up that he cares. He says that every voice matters, and I have to respond. I mean, that is my livelihood, and I'm the same way. I get people who sometimes contact me with a complaint, and I don't want to take the message, you know, in my business, but I do, because you got to take the good with the bad. You got to constantly be efficient, and that's where I strive. That's how my businesses have thrived, is because I start and do this on this day, it's going to be up and running by this day. And I've done that with the Kindle. I set a goal to do this amount, and I will continue to set goals, and I will follow through with them. And once that becomes a habit, the habit becomes a value. And those values, the more values you accumulate, the more you're going to be successful. And this is what Stefan's life is about, because he was a shy kid who just played on the computer all through, I remember him, through high school. And then he started. It didn't happen overnight. Everybody thinks it happens overnight. Everybody thinks that I've accumulated. And when I talk to people, they think that I just accumulated this, like it just happened overnight. No, this is 20 years in the making. Even the 10 years where I wasn't building it, I was building it and learning. And that's what life is about. I mean, it's never too late. You can make money at you're 20 years old. You can make money at 30. There are people that are 90 years old. There's people in Stefan's group that are retired or, you know, have successful businesses, not just like myself, because it's a challenge to them. That's what life should be about. It should be about a challenge. Everything should be a challenge. And if you make it a challenge and you achieve that challenge and you achieve the goal, every other challenge becomes easier and easier. It just becomes life. And you're living it at the most. And I'm that way. I've always been that way. I've never said that I can't do anything. Even the things I'm not good at, I always say I can do it. I'm just not good at it. And you're not going to be good at everything. Right? But I think Kindle business, anybody can do. Whether everybody's going to make $6,500 in 4 months, no, I don't know. That's really up to you and your values and how you are as an individual. But it can be done. Right? I don't have any, I mean, I have the skills because I've learned from my businesses. And
you also, the fascinating thing, you did this while you've got 2 kids, a wife, you've got a multi-million-dollar business.
I've got a lot on my plate.
It's not like you had all this abundance of free time.
I still play. I still have my hobbies. I still play at a high level of soccer. I coach my daughter's soccer team. I've managed to balance my life, which is also very important, because if you find yourself that you're too involved in one thing, you're going to lack in another thing. And a lot of personal things in your life are very important to the parts that are making money. You have to apply them. What we do here, this raw interview that we're doing for you, this would probably be more powerful than a scripted interview, because it's coming from us. It's coming from just 2 brothers who sitting around talking and brainstorming, and this is what it was. He came up on Friday, and here we are on Sunday, and we're doing an interview, and that's what life's about, because we know we can do it. Right? And so I don't know. You want to get into what do you want to
so let's wrap up soon. But I want you to maybe share a little bit about just your experience so far in the last 4 months. What you've done, 115 books. Okay, so you've mastered that process. You've been through that learning curve. One thing you've been amazing at too is with CreateSpace. How many CreateSpace books do you have?
I have, I think, about 32 now, and I have probably another. I'm producing CreateSpace almost every day now, because now I'm publishing all my books.
And
and I've been successful at that. There's potential there, definitely potential there. The thing is, you can't just jump into CreateSpace. You do need to use Kindle as ebooks as a platform, because the review process is completely different on CreateSpace.
It's harder to get reviews.
It's harder to get reviews. So you stick with the e-Kindle. It is easier. You're spending a bigger investment in CreateSpace. So once you establish yourself comfortably in e-Kindle, move in
CreateSpace.
CreateSpace, and you can make some more money.
And you've also been building your back end. You built a list of how many people now?
We have 1,300 subscribers that now are constantly emailing us for products that we might be able to sell or advice, and so that's where my wife is now going to get into a blogging, and it's directed sort of to what her niche of what she loves to do, and that's what Kindle did. Kindle created something that she loves to do.
New opportunities, because the Kindle is just the stepping stone. And I think more than anything, it helps. It's an easy way for people to get into the internet marketing that's not too complicated, because a lot of the deeper you go, there's more to it, right? Kindle, you learn how to find markets, demands, how to create, outsource, market, all this sort of stuff, which opens the door now to affiliate marketing, blogging, creating your own physical products.
There's a number of
opportunities now, right?
Definitely, and I'm learning, and that's the power here, because
that's
for me,
the most valuable thing.
The most valuable thing is I'm learning, and it's free. Really, I mean, you're paying such a small amount to get off the ground, and then the rest is free. I mean, like I said, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get flagged. Everybody gets flagged, and everybody's going to get the reviews removed. It's not the end of the world, right? Just keep plugging away. Just keep going at it. I mean, if there was no barriers to doing this business, then it would be saturated. Then everybody would be doing it. But there has to be barriers, and what barriers? The stronger the barriers, the more potential of making money.
Yeah.
because the less competition you're going to have.
Yeah.
And I believe that this is endless. I mean, I truly believe that within a year I could have 1,000 books,
Yeah.
and it could be managing, and I could be producing $20,000 a month from Kindle. I truly believe that, and whether I'm going to pursue that, I don't know, because like I said, I am expanding now into some other things, and whether the potential is greater there because my time is limited. I have 24 hours a day, and a certain amount is designated to certain parts of my careers, and so I have to manage that time the best and where my opportunities is. It may not be for everybody. Maybe Kindle is all you need,
Yeah.
and it'll be enough passive income. Everybody's lifestyle is completely different,
Yeah.
but the potential's there. That's the key here, that you can do what you want to do, and the potential's there.
Yeah. I think one thing I've learned too is that the process of what you're going through, the learning, is more important than the result, because yeah, you made $6,500 and all that, but the process you've gone through, honestly, that process and what you learned is what's going to allow you to make millions of dollars on the internet.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I got started in internet, it wasn't as easy as it is now, but I didn't make money for like 2-3 years of just like plugging away at this. But what I didn't realize was that those 2 to 3 years, even though I didn't make money, I learned so much, which has now allowed me to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's going to allow me to make so much more in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know what's possible in 10 years from now.
Exactly.
It's like-
And that's what happened. There was a signal that went off in my head that said the potential is endless. And now it's the challenge is to be creative and to take an idea and to make money with it. And that's the challenge for every business owner, whether you're successful or not, because even the best and biggest companies in the world, their challenge is to make the next $100 million idea of a shoe and the best looking car. They have those challenges every day.
Innovate, yeah.
And is to innovate. And that's what this is all about, is being innovative. And Stefan is fantastic at that. He's created ideas that he's able to market to you at a low cost, because there are people out there generating ideas that are charging way more. And he's able to get it to the average person, because I've spoken to people in the group that are like in Malta and in countries that there is no money. It's very difficult to make money, but they're getting out of that. They're looking at it and say, I'm not going to depend on my country to make money. I'm going to go on the internet, and they don't have money to swap reviews, that they have to go straight to free promotion and to get off the ground. But this is an opportunity that they would have never had in their life, and they have that now, and they're young, and some aren't young. But you can do it. I mean, within a year, I think you could have 25 books easy, 50 books easy, and you can be generating a couple $1,000s a month. And for some people, that's life changing.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people in that group where if they make $100 a day in this, they could quit their job, and they can live off of that. And to just know that potential possibility is there. I mean,
I always view like every Kindle book you publish is like giving yourself a little pay raise.
It is.
Right? So it's like if you have a job, you're
Yeah.
kind of limited to what you can create and how you
Exactly.
can scale up and
Exactly.
everything. But
And
with this,
and you know what? The funny thing is, you make lots of money. I mean, Stefan was doing well with the Kindle business, but he found other opportunities. And so you may get to a point where you have, like me, 100 books, 200 books, and making $10,000 a month, and another opportunity comes up for you to make $20,000, and you neglect the Kindle business. And that's just going to be a reality of it, because this is, like we say, this is a platform. The potential is endless for you, and the learning curve is all you got to get through, and it's an easy learning curve. The way that Amazon has set it up, it's quite easy for anybody to do. And
and the thing I like about Kindle is that it's a business that you can automate.
Yeah.
Like, in your construction business, to automate it, you got to bring in all these staff and manage it. And it's a little bit more of a hassle,
It
right?
is.
With this, you're using technology, you're using Amazon. You don't have to talk to the customers, deliver the book. It's all an automated process of how they get the book, how you get paid.
Yes.
You don't have to follow up the customers.
I'm currently in the process.
You bring in VAs and stuff that can do a lot of this stuff for you.
I did almost 100% of our review swapping that built up our books. And I handled all of that. I handled all the publishing. I handled a lot of the research, choosing books. And now, in 4 months, I got to that point, and now I'm in the transition of complete self-automation, where I've got a support team of VAs that are being micromanaged by one manager, and I'm at that point now, and I'm probably within a couple weeks I will step aside from Kindle, other than I'll still be hands-on in regards to the publishing and making sure that my books are still being published, because at this point I still want to grow. and but I'm going to step aside and let the VAs. And there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be times when you're going to lose some money with the VAs, and
you still got to keep your eyes on
it though, and
that's
like any business. If you neglect it, it's going to go down.
All that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap up here soon, but one of the things that hopefully this interview has inspired you, and I know it's inspired me. I've known the story and everything, but just kind of hearing it again, and I think a lot of your life and what you've been able to do and accomplish with Kindle and beyond that's been amazing. And I know that you've expressed an interest in working with people, coaching people one-on-one. It's a passion for you. You already help people in the Facebook group, and I know a lot of people come to me for coaching, and that's a passion for me. I love helping people and working with them and everything, but one of the challenges that I've been faced with is that my time has become more and more limited and more valuable as well, and I haven't been able to work with as many people as I'd like. I have people every day that message me and email me and they want help, and I want to help everyone, but it's just not enough hours in the day for me to do that. And so a lot of people have asked for coaching, but I've had to turn a lot of people down, or I know there's a lot of people that can't afford my rates and whatnot. And because my brother expressed interest, I thought, why not bring you involved, and there can be an opportunity for you to help people and work with them.
Yeah.
And he can do the Kindle process just as well as me, and you've had the success with it, and you've been through the process. And that's why we decided to do this interview and share the story, but also provide an opportunity for you guys to be able to work with him. And a lot of you guys that maybe are getting started and you want that guidance, you want someone to hold your hand or walk you through it, and kind of help you build it to a certain point. Or I know there's some of you guys that have been doing this for a while, you got a few books up, but you want to take it even further, or you just want some to learn the process more, or understand maybe why some books aren't doing well, or what you can do to take it further, and you might not have some of the qualities or the skills to do that. So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about why you wanted to do the coaching and what you think you can help people with?
Well, I'm sort of in the same boat as you with time, right? I obviously am going to be stepping away from the Facebook group just because my time's becoming limited, and but I still want that interaction. I still want to be in the group, and I think it's important to be involved in all your businesses. And so I still want to be able to put myself out there that I could help some people. And so I'd love to get into coaching. I coach on my free time with my girls' soccer team. I coach every day in my career. In my construction company, I'm coaching all my trades. And so it's something that I'm passionate about as well. I like I mentioned earlier in this interview, that I want to one day get into teaching at a high level, and so this may be a good foundation for me to get into. And I love that direct one-on-one, and with even sometimes in a smaller group. Some of my best experiences have always been learning in small groups, even from when I was in college opposed to university. The smaller setting is more inspirational, because you oftentimes in a raw coaching session environment, you can get sidetracked and learn a little bit about each other, and just sometimes what some person will say is inspirational alone. I have some of my greatest mentors. My moments have been just in the coaching lessons that I have. Just the little comments, the little things that they have said has been motivation, and has stuck with me for all my life. And so, and I want to give back. I love that. I love telling my story, because I really think it helps people. It makes me feel better, because it's been tough, and just knowing that you're not alone, that you can do it, is motivation enough for me to want to get into coaching. Mm-hmm. So I felt that now that I've established myself in the Kindle business, in the sense that I'm confident that I can teach anybody. That's why another reason why I wanted to do it all on my own, so that if I didn't give bad information or bad advice. And so now that I've proven that I can do this, and why not help others? And I know that you are limited on your time, and I've spoken to a lot of people in the group that want to do coaching, and or want to get a coach and need help. And so I think this is an opportunity for me to help, and for some people to have that opportunity as well. So Stefan and I brainstormed this weekend and came up with a plan that I'll go work for Kindle Money Mastery and be under his umbrella, and and we'll try it out. And hopefully I'll be able to help some people, not only in the Kindle business, but maybe I can offer some other points of things like my experience in business world, because once you get to a certain point in this business of having books, you're going to need some structure. You're going to need a plan of action, because depending on how far you take it, it's, and you do well, you're going to have some organizational skills. And this is something that I am powerful at, because I not only run company, I run a number of companies, and so that alone is a task.
Yeah.
And so the importance of it is to be efficient and to be organized, and so I can offer that. And sometimes, if that's the kind of coaching that you need, I can do that too. Or if sometimes you just need to hear my story for inspiration.
And I think beyond that, just even the discipline, the qualities, the values, all those sort of things you can help people with to be successful at this process or anything that you're pursuing. You got a lot of experience with investing, stocks, mutual funds, real estate. You got a number of real estate properties. There's a wealth of knowledge here. And I think it's great that we're doing this. And
well, another key point is what to do with your Kindle money. I mean, I don't know what all of you are doing with it, but how much to reinvest back into the Kindle business and how much to put aside. And those are questions that a lot of people don't have experience and know what to do with it, and what to do with what you're putting aside. Kindle business should not be your only business. You should eventually branch off, and with if you make good money, take it as a cash flow and create other opportunities for yourself. And so that's difficult, and I've spent years learning to do that. I've been mentored by people that are successful to do that, and then that's where Stefan is in his life now, because he's got a number of ventures and they're all doing well. And so now he, as you can see with his wealth of progress of wealth, he now has decisions to make on what to do with that money. And it's difficult, because you've worked hard to make that money, and you've got to make smart choices with that money, because it can go as fast as it comes. And so the smarter decisions to do with that money will create more passive income for you and a better lifestyle for you. And so maybe I can help you with that, or maybe I'll just help you with publishing and Fiverr and with all the other great tools out there that Stefan's passed to you on how to operate them and how to do them efficiently. Then I'd love to do that. So
awesome. So what we've done is created a program, and we'll have more information on this page where this video is. My time's limited, but unfortunately his time's limited as well. He can only take on so many people, and we'll update you guys on the page to mention how many people that you can handle and at least start with, and maybe you might take on more as time goes on. But we'll have all the information on this page for you guys to check out. It'll be limited to a certain number of people, and if this sounds something that would interest you or benefit you, or it's something that you benefit from this story and you want to take this further, then I encourage you to sign up for this and take advantage. And I think just having him in your life and having the benefit of talking to him, knowing him, your life is going to be better off for it. So you want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, all the information will be on this page on how you can sign up for it, how many spots are available, more information about it. But thank you, and we'll see you guys again soon.